What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Mode Studios with another weekly real estate tip. And on today's episode, I actually have three different tips, three different questions that you, our amazing listeners and subscribers and watchers of the GSD Mode podcast, have submitted that I'm going to answer live here on the show. So we're going to talk about, is the real estate market going to crash in 2020? What advice do I have to prepare for what's to come here with the real estate market, as well as what are you advising and telling and informing your clients during this time? As we know, we're all getting this question many times each and every day. All right, so we're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing how to find a coach and mentor, and we're going to be discussing the quickest way to go out there and find new business. Now, real quick, before I jump into today's real estate tip, if you are a real estate agent, real estate professional, if you're watching this, listening to this, I know that you are, and you're looking to take your business to the next level. And if you're looking for my personal, or to be coached and mentored by me personally, make sure to check out masterybootcamp.com so you can see what my 12-month mentorship coaching program entails. You can see what it's all about. You can see testimonials from those that have been through the program, that have created massive success in their life, and see what they have to say about it. You can also book a 100% zero pressure discovery call to get all your questions answered about how the program works and see if it's a fit for you. We have a very strict no selling policy, so you don't have to worry about being pushed, pressured, just a way to get all your questions answered to, again, see if it's a fit for you. So that's at masterybootcamp.com. Also, if you have a question that you would like me to answer here on the GSD Mode podcast, make sure to shoot me an email at questions@gsdmode.com, and I'd be more than happy to answer your question here live on the show, just like I'm answering these other three questions today. All right, so I am going to start with, we're going to go the kind of shortest to the longest answers based on these questions. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, what is the best source? So this question comes from Scott. What is the best source or resource to find a one-on-one mentor and a coach that will help me develop a lead gen plan so I can grind it out and reach the success that I want? And this is such a powerful question. Look, you guys, it is impossible to go out there and create big success in business or in any aspect of our life without a coach or a mentor. I've yet to meet anybody at a high level that doesn't have coaches, doesn't have mentors, that doesn't have that guidance. So this is really important. Now, how do you go out there? Let's first talk about how to identify the best type of coaching for you, and then we'll talk about how to identify the best coach for you, because there's lots of different ways to find the information. So, and what I'm going to break down here, I mean, this is what I do in my strategy, if you will, for any and all of my self-development, right? Because sometimes it's a coach, sometimes it's a mentor, sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a course, right? And I want to get clarity on what the best way is for me to get the help that I need. So the first thing that I do is I'm always identifying what are my goals. I'm getting very clear on what are the goals that I want to accomplish. So let's just say whatever your yearly goals are that you want to make a reality. Then we need to deal in realities once we get clarity on that and identify, okay, where am I at right now in my business? And then from there, identify what is the current biggest obstacle. If I can master this one thing, if I can dial this thing in, if I can knock this out, I would be, if I can master the skill set, whatever it may be, I would be kicking ass and on track or that much closer to accomplishing my goals. A lot of real estate professionals don't know how to identify the right coach or the right help that they need, because they're just going at this blind. Oh, I need some help. I need some guidance. So they might post in a Facebook group and, oh, well, this person's the best coach. This is the best course. This is the best program. Well, I'm not saying that they are wrong, but is it best for you in your unique situation? Right? So we got to get very clear on that, because a lot of times I identify that it's not a coach, right? Coaching, it can be extremely expensive. Now it's going to be a massive ROI if you find and identify the right coach for the right problem. But a lot of times it could be a book. Now you're speaking specific to lead generation, right? So my guess is that this isn't going to be a coach. This is probably going to be a course, or it could be free training that you need, right? It doesn't have to necessarily even cost you money. It could be YouTube videos, it could be free courses, it could be paid courses, it could be a book. It's identifying what the best is to give you that skill set that you need right now, right? So before I would jump into, I need a lead generation coach or a lead generation program or help with lead generation, I first would identify what type of lead generation that you're going to get involved in. Because there's lots of different lead generation, man. Like you might decide that, hey, I want to go out there and start circle prospecting and cold calling. I want to go out there and call expireds. I want to call for sale by owners. Or maybe, right, you decide I want to do online inbound marketing. I want to get people coming to me, or I want to do open houses, or I want to generate all my business through social media, or whatever, right? There's a vast array, because remember, lead generation is a massive topic. So I'd identify what are the lead generation methods that you feel attracted to. What do you see yourself doing for the long term? What are the pillars that you want to truly build your business on? That'll be a big difference, right? As an example, I choose to do inbound lead generation methods, right? So I grow my business off things like open houses, a lot of social media, right? Paid and free social media, YouTube, and so forth. Well, that's going to be a totally different type of training than if somebody chooses to build their business off of cold calling, right? We're talking about two different total beasts here. So I would identify, first, I'd get very clear on the actual sources and methods that you seem attracted to, that you like, that you enjoy, that you can see yourself building a business off that. Like me personally, I don't like cold calling. Number one, I don't like cold calling. I don't enjoy it, right? It isn't something I'm attracted to, right? But then also I don't like trading time for money with cold calling, because it gets to a point where as I get busy, I can't continue those same efforts. Eventually my business is going to get stagnant, right? And I don't want to grow a business where I'm doing the same efforts or the same business each and every year, but I'm at a capacity, right? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with cold calling. There is no right or wrong. It's what's right for you. There's a lot of agents that build very successful businesses doing it. We've seen that. I have lots of friends that do that, and that's their style, right? So, but that's what I mean when there's no one way to create success. There's thousands and thousands of ways to go out there and create success. I just had a gal on the podcast, Shannon Gillette, who's an agent also in my market, and she did $30 million in gross volume sales last year as an individual agent, and she's never done a cold call. She doesn't even do follow-up calls, right? She's built all of this through social media, and most of it is free organic social media posting and through her videos and so forth, where people are reaching out to her saying, hey, I want you to be my realtor, right? So I would get clarity on the methods that you want to attack, right? And what your strategy is going to be. Then from there, you can start to identify, again, what are the best books? What are the best courses? Like I'm reading a book right now called 1 Million Followers. And for a $20 book, I'm learning from the social media manager for Taylor Swift, Rihanna, Katy Perry, right? Some of the biggest celebrities on the planet of how to build a massive social media following. And I'm gaining that knowledge and information for $20. I don't have to go buy a coach, pay for a mentor, right? Pay some expensive, course or whatever, through that. I'm able to get it out of a book, and we'll see, I'll report on that later. Give me about 60 days to report back on to you to see if that book has been effective for me, right? But I'm very confident. I'm grasping the book. I understand the strategies in the book and starting to execute on the strategies. I'm very confident that a $20 book will solve my problem, right? But then from there, if you decide that you are looking for a coach or a program, now when it comes to mastering skill sets, I don't rely on one-on-one coaches anymore in my career, and that's probably been one of the worst investments that I've ever made. Not that it can't be effective for some. I think one-on-one coaches are great for accountability. I've never been anybody that needs accountability, right? Like I don't need somebody to hold my hand to go out there and take actions. I've been self-driven, self-accountable, and so forth. What I need is the knowledge and information. So where I get most of my information is through paid programs, paid courses, group coaching, group masterminds. Number one, they're a hell of a lot more affordable than one-on-one coaching. And I'm able to find the information in those that I need, but I vet them very carefully. Because remember, it's where do I want to go? What is my current biggest obstacle problem that I need to solve? And then I find a badass that has proven that success. So going back to this 1 million followers, right? I vetted many books, vetted programs, and I came across this book. Now this guy, owns an agency or works for an agency where he personally represents these huge celebrities doing this. So he's got his clout, he's got their track record. Well, then from there, he's like an unknown individual. You know, his clients are like Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, and Rihanna and so forth. But he started sitting there thinking, he goes, I'm the behind the scenes guy. Nobody knows me. So let me take my strategy and truly test my strategy. So me as an unknown person, let me see if I can go out there and grow 1 million fans, 1 million followers in 30 days or less. And he ended up getting like 1.5 million or so. He ended up hitting over 1 million in 30 days, even though he was an unknown person. So he's also proven it himself that he was able to do this. Those are the people I want to learn from. I don't want to learn from anybody of theory. If that person hasn't built or created the success that I want to create, I will not read their book. I will not buy their course. I will not take their coaching program, right? So get very clear on those. But once you identify, let's just say as an example, you're like, all right, dude, I want to grow my business through social media marketing, right? Well, find a real estate agent, a real estate coach, or somebody that has a program that's built a very successful business through social media marketing, right? And then go take their course. Or if you want to get them as a mentor, right? Reach out to them, see if they have any one-on-one coaching programs. And you guys, one thing I want to make very clear here. You don't always need to pay for a mentor, right? I have a lot of mentors in my life that I don't exchange money for them to mentor me, right? But here's what I am very intentional with is I look to first see how I can impact their life. What can I do? Can I make introductions? Can I promote them? Can I help them grow? Right? Maybe there's the skill set that I have that they don't have. Maybe I can donate time to their charity. Right? I can exchange. I want to go out there and have an impact on their life first. Because if I'm able to do that, then they're happy to reciprocate and mentor me, and usually for, like I said, no money, but because I had a positive impact on their life. So I'm looking for deep-rooted mentors that I can truly learn from. That is the position I'm going for. Right? I want to impact their life first because there's no shortage, dude. I get dozens and dozens of messages each and every day of, hey man, you got 5 minutes? Can I pick your brain and so forth? And I'd love to give 5 minutes to everybody, but the reality is I get so many of those. If I gave 5 minutes to everybody that wanted 5 minutes to pick my brain, or for everybody that wanted to take me to lunch or take me to dinner or take me out to coffee, I wouldn't have enough minutes in the day to grow my businesses and to be able to see my family. It'd be impossible, right? So don't lead with oh, can I pick your brain? Can I get position yourself of, hey, how can I have an impact on this person? How can I have an impact on their life? And those are going to be your most powerful mentors. And especially, like I said, you don't necessarily have to pay for that time. I had a dude that I mentored for a lot of years now, and we've also became friends. But he found out that I was flying into Chicago, and that I needed to drive from Chicago to Champaign, Illinois, where Perfect Storm is located, which is our software company, website CRM for real estate agent company, right? Well, he identified that. He knew that, and he knew I was going to have to rent a car and drive. So he offered. He lives in the Chicago area, and he's like, hey, dude, I'll pick you up at the airport. I'll drive you there. I'll come pick you back up, drive you 2 hours back to the airport. Like I needed the transportation anyway, but he was like, yeah, I just want to be able to pick your brain and get to know you better and so forth, right? And that's solidified what I perceive, and I strongly see a lifelong friendship, a lifelong relationship. And that dude now is, we've been on snowboarding trips together, right? He has more access to me than most because of that. And I don't want to say that one act, right? But that solidified a much deeper relationship, right? Okay, so hopefully that helps. All right, so the next question is, what would you do to find a sale fast? I've only been in the business a month, and I need to get some deals under contract. So there's a few ways that lead to quick now business. Number one, as far as new business, open houses, I found to be the quickest way to now immediate business because people are far along the process, right? They've identified the area. Now they're just looking for a house. They have, they're willing to get out of their comfort zone and to go face to face with the salesperson, the realtor, right? Now, as the time I'm creating this video, for you guys is April 20th. So we're in the middle of the quarantine for the coronavirus. So I know that this may not be possible for some of you, but this too shall pass. or this too shall pass. Eventually this will reopen up and you'll be able to start doing, open houses again. But right now you could be doing virtual open houses. You could be doing virtual happy hours, which we're seeing a lot of people having success with. I just recently released a podcast with Carly and Brandon Diggs, breaking down their virtual happy hour, what they do, and they're having success with it, putting deals on a contract from it. So you can go check that out as well. But let's just say you're watching this during the coronavirus and you're like, dude, I still need to get deals under contract right away. What I would do, the quickest way to now money that I've found right now in this environment, and really in any environment, is make a list of the 3 or 4 top lenders in your marketplace. And if it's a preferred lender that that you've done business with, great. But they don't have to be. But these are very high producing lenders. Reach out to them and approach them with this win-win program or this win-win opportunity where you would like to reach out to any of their old leads, their old applications. These are people that applied for a loan and for whatever reason didn't move forward with purchasing a home. And these are going to be old applications, old leads that aren't being worked right now. That this is just business that you can go out there and revive, and nobody's working them on their team, and high producing lenders are going to have tons and tons of these, right? Where you're able to reach out to those old applications, right? And leverage the lender's name. This is going to be a thing that you guys are kind of doing together. It's a win-win because the lender will get to reapply them for loans, see if they purchase, and then obviously get the loan, and you get the buy side of the business, right? But calling up whatever potential lead, hey, whatever their name is, this is Joshua Smith at my home group. I work with whatever the lender's name is, and we wanted to reach out. We know that you applied for a loan 2 years ago or 18 months ago or so forth, and for whatever reason, at least per our records, moving forward with a home purchase didn't become a reality, and just wanted to see if this is something that you would like to revisit. There's a lot of great loan programs today. Interest rates are at all-time lows, and we just wanted to see if this is something that you would like to re-explore, if you'd like to try, give it another shot and go out there and find a new home for you. Is this something that you would like to do? Yeah, right? So very basic script, and I created a video, a 20-minute video on this not too long ago that you'll find on my real estate tips, either on my YouTube channel or at gsdmode.com, where a 20-minute video where I break this down much more in depth. So you can revisit that, or we'll make sure it's linked to this video below in the show notes or in the notes here of this video, so you can go check that out as well. When I released that on YouTube, and this was several months ago, I had one of our podcast listeners, one of our YouTube listeners, comment on that video. That within 24 hours so the comment came in with 24 hours of that release of that video, that he implored this strategy, met with a lender and went out there and executed on it, and had 2 deals that had now pre-approved or pre-qualified buyers that were out there looking for homes, had buyer broker agreements on them, so forth, had actual solidified buyer, 2 buyer clients, and 24 hours of implementing this strategy. So it's a great way for you to go out there and get now immediate business. Like if I needed deals tomorrow, needed buyers tomorrow, closings the next 30 days, that's 100% what I would be doing. But it also allows you to develop deeper relationships with local lenders and other top producers in your area, and that'll create more opportunities to come down the road for you. So that's what I jump right into that, execute on that on a very, very high level. All right, so the last question that we have here today, I've been getting this question many times a day through email, through comments on the podcast, and so forth, which is the real estate market going to crash here in 2020? What are you doing to plan for, as well as what are you communicating to buyers and sellers right now? So this is a multi-part different question here, and let me just attack this. Number one, is the real estate market going to crash in 2020? None of us know. The people that are out there, these gurus, these experts that are telling you it, whatever, just understand that is their opinion. None of us know. None of us have a crystal ball, right? And there's multiple different camps on this. A lot of people, a lot of economists that think that by the end of Q4 this year, we'll be back seeing appreciation, and the real estate market overall will have about a 2% appreciation, over the year. You have other camps that are calling doom and gloom and so forth, right? Now, my personal opinion on this, which really doesn't matter because it's just an opinion. I I have no idea, just like nobody else has any idea, yeah, this is going to set us into a big correction, right? Just because consumer debt's at all-time high and so forth. If we look at what's taking place right now, got unemployment rate rising day by day, right? So you've got consumer debt at record highs. Like the average consumer is in the worst position that they may have ever been in the history of our country. But the one unknown here, and one of the differences between what's taking place right now versus what took place in 2008. I was licensed. I've been a real estate agent since 2005, and not only did I survive the Great Recession and the Great Housing Crash of 2008, my business absolutely kicked ass and absolutely thrived during those times, right? And one of the big differences between now and what happened in 2008 is in 2008, we had a massive surplus of real estate. Like we were way overbuilt. We had too many homes. There wasn't the demand for the homes. Today, it's the opposite of that. We have a massive undersupply of real estate, right? So even as we see spikes in short sales, spikes in foreclosure, spikes in defaults, and so forth, which I truly believe are inevitable or going to happen. If you look at mortgage forbearances, they're up now 1,400% in 3 weeks, right? Pre-COVID-19, the nationwide forbearance rate was around 0.25%. Now it's like 3.5%. So we've seen this massive spike in forbearances, whether you want to call that a default or not. But we've seen a massive spike in that. Well, even with that, because inventory rates are so low, who knows if that inventory is really going to we'll see it on the market. And what I mean by this is for the first time ever, we're seeing massive hedge fund institutions like Blackstone swallowing up single family detached real estate. As an example, HUD is not going to the market with a lot of their properties. A big percentage of their portfolio, they're packaging up, selling to Blackstone and other institutions. So we don't know. These institutions might swallow this up before they get there. So we won't see, potentially we may not see a huge spike in inventory rates because supply is at such a low level, right? And the other thing that we got to understand right now is because mortgage-backed securities have been, I don't want to say have gone away, but companies like Ginnie Mae and so forth aren't buying mortgage-backed securities. These servicers are held carrying the bag. So when somebody goes into a forbearance, somebody defaults, whatever, like the servicers are stuck with that. And the servicers don't have the funds to be handling all of these. And this is why we've seen these restrictions, these loan restrictions, massively tighten up. We saw Chase Bank about a week ago or so now talking about they'll only approve anybody with 700% or above FICO, 20% down, conventional loan, and so forth. Right? Debt to income ratios are becoming less and less. As far as a borrower with debt to income ratio, servicers are going to get more strict with their guidelines. And until mortgage-backed securities come back in full force, these restrictions may stay in place. So what that's doing is it's restricting, and I don't know the exact statistics, but let's just say as an example, I'm just pulling this out of the air. So don't be fact checking me on this. I'm just using this as an example here. Let's just say that 50% of the buyer pool has been now eliminated from the marketplace because they no longer can qualify under the new guidelines. Right? That is going to create more inventory. You're going to have less buyers, right? But again, we're at such a low inventory rate that could be healthy for the market to, in my marketplace as of through March 2020. We're at 1.7 months of inventory in my real estate market, right? So a neutral market is going to be somewhere around 4 or 5 months of inventory, right? So, with all this being said, there are so many unknowns. None of us have any clue of what's going to take place here, other than, look, I'm confident with the consumer debt being what it is today. The average American's like $600 liquid. They're one disaster, one decent sized disaster away from insolvency as a household. So I do see defaults rising and so forth. Now, is that going to set us into a full-on housing crash? I have no idea, and nobody else does either. Right? But here's what you do to prepare for this as a real estate agent. And this is why I don't spend time speculating and waste my time wondering and thinking about, what's going to happen in the next 6-12 months with real estate. Because again, none of us know. It's not a good use of my time, right? So what is a good use of my time? And what I do to ensure that my business will be good. Because at the end of the day, you guys, it doesn't matter. There is no such thing as a good market or bad market. You know, what the media will say is a good market is going to be a seller's market with appreciating values. And they'll call a bad market a buyer's market with depreciating values, right? But when we look at this, and I always say that there's no such thing as a good market or bad market, it's identifying whom is the market good for. For the last 8 years or so, it's been great for sellers, right? But it's kind of been shitty for buyers, kind of been shitty for investors and so forth, you know, right? So I want to identify whom is the market good for, and then position and transition and shift my marketing, all my efforts and everything to whom it is good for. Got to understand that real estate is always trading hands. So I see myself, my niche is single family attached real estate, right? So I see myself as a single family attached real estate expert. It doesn't matter if who's trading hands of that single family attached. It could be traditional buyers and sellers. It could be investors. It could be hedge funds. It could be foreclosures, REOs. It could be short sales, right? That's okay. Right? I'm going to be able to adapt, shift, and change to whomever it is good for, right? So I'm then making sure I'm investing my time to make sure that my skill sets, regardless of what happens in the marketplace. So let's just say the market does boom, we get, you know, inventory rates shoot up, it becomes a real estate market crash, an extreme buyer's market with a surge of foreclosures and surge of short sales. Sorry, I got a little fly flying around here. Okay. You know, right? It's unfortunate, it sucks, but it is what it is. I'm going to make sure that I'm good. I'm going to make sure that I am recession proof. Just because the economy is going in a recession or a depression or whatever happens to it, like I can make sure that I'm still good. My business is still good. And this is how I not just survived, but thrived during the great housing crash and the great recession of 2008, 2009, and so forth, is I identified whom it was good for, and I transitioned all my energy, all my efforts, all my prospecting, my messaging, and my services to those that were trading real estate during those times, right? So I want to be a well-rounded real estate agent where then I know, okay, hey, I know how to process short sales very effectively. I know how to list and sell REOs at a very high level. I know how to service and scale and help hedge funds go out there and acquire inventory. I can do that with my investor clients as well. I can go out there and service traditional buyers and sellers at a high level as well, right? So how you want to invest your time, in my opinion, right now is making sure that you have those skill sets, learning those skill sets. So then it doesn't matter what's taking place in the market. Like you're good to go. You just have to transition, pivot, and shift, right? So that is my 2 cents on the real estate market, where it's headed. You know, none of us know, but I'm going to make sure that I'm able to pivot and transition and adapt, shift, and change, and have those skill sets. And that's what my time is focused on, making sure that I have those skill sets, you know, sharpening that skill set, and adding that to my bag of skills, if you will, right? Then from there, the last part of this question is, well, what are you telling your buyers and sellers right now? You know, right? Whether they're right now, we'll just speak to right now during the coronavirus, you know, right? Like, because we don't know of what's coming after this, you know, right? But right now we have two things taking place. They're worried about, hey, like, are people still buying? People still selling? So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the statistics each and every day inside my MLS. So when I have a seller, for example, that is like, hey, dude, are people still buying? People still selling? Is now a time to sell my house? You know, right? I have those statistics. I know, okay, hey, since, let's just say, the middle of March, since the quarantine went into place, here is how many homes have sold in your market. Here's how many new listings came on the market. Here's how many went under contract. Here's how many sold during that time. And the last week, here's how many have listed. Here's how many went pending. Here's how many sold, right? So they're seeing that real estate is still moving forward. And my market, my MLS, now this is a big county, a big area, but there are 8,800 home sales, almost 8,900 home sales in the month of March in 2020, in the middle of all this taking place. So it still shows that there's a huge demand. People are buying and selling, you know, right? Then when it comes there for a seller, it's like, look, I'm never, because you guys, when I'm educating, and this is the way I see it, I educate potential buyers and sellers. I don't try to get them to do anything they don't feel comfortable doing. I'm not trying to manipulate. I'm not trying to persuade. I'm trying to educate so they have the information to make the best decision for themselves and for their family. And I'm going to support their decision regardless of what their decision is. You know, again, I'm not trying to persuade, not trying to deceive, not trying to manipulate, any of that. Just education. That's the way I see this, and what I truly believe us as real estate professionals should be doing. So then from there though, and I'm never going to use fear, you know, right? I don't want to try to close them into wanting to sell right now, but there's a lot of unknowns of the future, you know, right? Because like, I look at this always in my own shoes. If I needed to sell here, let's just say now or in the near future, I am going to list and sell my house right now because it's the sure bet. Inventory rates are still at all-time lows. There's a lot of buyers out there still buying. We can still capitalize on really top home prices and top values. Right? They might get slightly less than maybe they would have 3 weeks ago, depending on your marketplace. But they're still able to kind of cash out at the top, if you will. Right? Versus rolling the dice in the future. We don't know. Right? Could the real estate market, could we see a surge of pent-up demand after all of this and an increase in prices? Sure. Right? That maybe could happen. None of us know, right? But we also could see a real estate market crash. So there's a lot of unknowns for the future. What we know is that right now, inventory rates are still low. There's still a lot of demand from buyers, and prices are at, in most areas, at recorded highs at this point. Right? So again, I'm just educating them on that. Right? Now, when it comes to a buyer that's in the opposite situation, that is worried of, hey, man, will I lose money in the next 2 years if I were to buy today? Right? Well, that very well could happen. I don't know. Right? So if somebody is looking to buy right now and make a bunch of equity in the next 2 years, now's probably may not be the time for them to buy. Right? We're trying to service right now buyers and sellers that have a need to buy and sell, that can't afford to pause their life or pause their real estate goals because of COVID-19. They still need to move forward. Right? And if people are buying for a long-term investment, it's still going to pan out historically, statistically. It's still going to pan out when they're okay. Right? So we want to identify people that are looking to buy and hold that home for the next 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And based on historic data that we have through different crises and so forth, they typically are going to come out ahead. But if there's somebody that's just looking to buy right now, hopefully build up 50, 60, 100 grand equity over the next 2 years and then cash out, look, that's some playing with fire. So I'm just educating them on what is, right, and what we have from historic data. The other thing to look at right now too, and this is a lot of reason why a lot of our buyers are moving forward right now, is because interest rates are so ungodly low right now. They're trying to take advantage of that, and check with your lender on this, but from the knowledge that we have, interest rates, a 1% spike in an interest rate takes up about 10% of buy power. So let's just say a buyer is able to get a 4% interest rate now today, and in a year from now, maybe they get a 5% interest rate, right? Well, that maybe that person's buying a $200,000 house, right? And it spikes up 1%. That now means a year later from now, they can only afford a $180,000 house, right? So interest rates really determine and give more buyer power than anything else in affordability and so forth, right? But a lot of it is around that long-term plan. If I look at the house that I'm in right now, I've been in this house for almost 10 years now. I'm going to probably stay in this house for at least another 5 years, right? So in 15 years, it's very difficult to lose on a real estate transaction if you're staying there for 10 or 15 years, right? But these people that want to cash in and cash out very quickly, right? That's a scary game to play. And we're letting them know that. I'm not trying to there's a lot of unknowns. So all the things I've shared with you today through this are the same things that I'm educating my buyers and sellers on. So I'm not trying to overcome objections in a way of manipulation. When I look at objections, I look at them as a lack of education. So I'm trying to educate them to give them all the information that they need to make the best decision for themselves and for their families and take it from there. And then I'm going to serve and support them regardless of what that decision is. And whether they're looking to buy or sell today, or they want to wait 6 months, right? Or wait till the quarantine is over, or wait 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, cool. Right? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to push them. I'm not going to pressure them. I'm just here to service them, to develop a relationship with them, develop the connection with them. And whenever they are ready to buy and sell, man, I will be here ready for them and willing to serve them at that time, right? Those are the deep conversations that we're having. But most importantly with this question, I want you guys to understand the importance of right now double down on your activities, right? Because here's the cool thing is, are there less buyers and sellers out there doing real estate right now? Yes. Right? In most markets, there's a decline in that. However, there's a hell of a lot less real estate agents working right now, right? So right now is a huge opportunity for all of us to come out of this way ahead by doubling down on our efforts, doubling down our activities. I was talking with a buddy of mine today that asked me a question. He's like, look, man, I've had 3 deals that were under contract, 3 buyers. 2 of them fell out, one pushed through during this. I'm like, cool. Right? So now you just understand the facts, right? So let's just say 1/3 of your deals that you put under contract or have under contract is going to close, right? Well, you need to then, do three times the effort, 3 times the amount of work right now, or 4 times, it's like 3 times the amount of work and effort if you want to just continue with the same results that you were getting prior to this, right? And then if you want to grow and expand that, then do 4 times the effort. We're all having to do it. I'm having to work more than I ever have in my life right now. I'm having to be more focused, more intentional, and working harder than I ever have. Right now, since this crisis has taken place, right? But I want to position myself not to just survive, but absolutely thrive during these times and put myself in the best opportunity I possibly can. So then when this is over, I'm in a way better position than my competitors, right? But then also, it's not just about doubling down on your efforts or tripling down your efforts inside your business. It's also doubling down and tripling down on your efforts on the business, meaning taking this time to work on your systems. Now more than ever, it's time to restrict entertainment. Like nobody's going to gain any value in their life by watching some Tiger King bullshit documentary on Netflix. Like, get rid of that shit. Keep your eyeballs off of that. Invest your time on improving your systems, improving your presentations, right? Improving your CRM and improving your skill sets, right? He or she that invests their time most wisely always wins, especially is going to win at the highest level during these times. So invest your time the right way. All right, guys, I know that this was a lot that I covered with you today, but I hope that you found this helpful. Again, if you have a question that you would like me to answer and break down here in one of these weekly real estate tips, shoot me an email at questions@gsdmode.com. Also, if you're a real estate professional, real estate agent, team leader, brokerage owner, looking to grow and scale your business, take your business to the next level, check out my personal coaching and mentorship program, my 12-month program at masterybootcamp.com. And on there, you can see what the program is all about. You can see testimonials from other people that have kicked ass and had massive success through the program. You can book a 100% zero pressure discovery call to get all your questions answered, see if the program is a fit for you. And again, masterybootcamp.com. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. Keep up the amazing work. Keep kicking ass, and I will see you next time. Peace.